Hi guys, Saki with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 4v4 match on the map Seaton's. I'm starting in the top left hand position playing as the Allies. So for those of you who don't know this map, this is one of those hybrid maps where there's going to be action on the water and also the land. And what you have is you have like a thin strip of middle land in the middle of the map, and that links the top to the bottom of the map. And then you've got water either sides. So what tends to happen quite often is the teams at the sides tend to focus on the water, and the teams front and back, like sort of like in the middle, there's two of them, they're going to focus on tanks, but sometimes the side teams may need to give support in that area too. Now the thing is, the left hand side is a much better position for the top player than the right hand side if you're going to be attacking from the water. And because I'm the only allied player, I really need to make sure I'm going to be able to get water control on the left hand side. The thing is, all the other players on my team are Soviet players, and submarines do very badly against destroyers. It's sort of like their counter. You want to counter submarines, build destroyers, because destroyers get a much better trade. So it's going to be very hard for the team, our team, to get control of the right hand side of the map on the water. So I'm going to need to make sure I get control on the left hand side, because what we don't want is we don't want to be bombarded on both sides in the middle, else it's going to be an absolutely nightmare for our tanks. Now I do have an advantage because, as I said, the top left hand position is better than the bottom left hand position for this like early economy. You could see I did have a lot of gems available, and now I'm getting those 2 naval yards out, and I'm going to be building some destroyers really quickly and going down to the bottom part of that map. Another advantage, apart from being able to like bombard the middle strip against the enemy players, is there's an island in sort of like the middle left hand position, and I'm going to want to get control of that left hand island because it does have a lot of resources like some gems and some ore, and that's going to like give me my economy a real good boost. So that's another reason I need to get control of this water, because the more resources you have, obviously the better it is for yourself. And I've built my second ore refinery, and I'm going for those gems again. You might have noticed I've only built 1 war factory, and I'm keeping it like this because a war factory for me is not the priority. For tanks, it's the water that's priority for me, which is why I'm building that. And I'm just having a look at that red transport ship. I was worried there for a second that he was going to unload some tanks, but it didn't look like it, fortunately. But that could be like a way to surprise your opponents, I guess. Get 5 tanks in early on, get a transport ship down while they're building destroyers. You unload 5 tanks, wreak havoc on the base. So that would be like sort of like a water rush, I guess. But that didn't happen, fortunately. And now our destroyers are at this bottom island, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the red naval yard. So this is sort of like more to the middle. You can see the middle strip of the land there, and there's a transport vessel, and that's coming from the left, so I think it's a bit further to the left, so that's where I'm going to have to possibly head. Just making sure I build enough destroyers. And now I've got my tech centre, and tech centre is very important for 2 things. One thing is satellite, and the other thing is to be able to build cruisers. Cruisers are really good for bombardments and really strong against buildings as well. And there we can see that red has got quite a number of destroyers, and I'm going to need to bring some more destroyers down from my base and sort of pull back and regroup because there was a few too many there to fight all at once. So now I'm grouping my destroyers together, and then we'll be able to go for the counter. And now purple's brought some tanks down to the middle strip. I think they were a bit late on that, but at least they've got some there now, and they haven't taken any damage. And now you can see there's red with a group of destroyers there, and now we're going to engage in some combat. So let's see how this goes. You can see those red cruisers coming up, and I'm just trying to bring reinforcements as much as possible, and now we'll go around, so just moving the cruisers around. Let's see how this engagement goes. It's looking good for us initially, and I think we're getting a better damage done now. He's trying to run away, but that's never a good idea with cruisers because they can just keep on firing as they're moving. So I'm bringing in reinforcements as well, and this battle we've won quite easily. So those red destroyers going down, and now I've got the vastly superior numbers, and what I'm going to probably try and do is try and find that naval yard. What I'm a bit concerned about though is those destroyers being able to do a bit of damage to the tanks in the middle, and I'm just firing on some of those yellow tanks. That's phototonics. And now let's see how this goes. You can see those red destroyers, only 3 left. I've got about 9 there, so this should be easy work. Just taking them out, and now I can just have a little bit more of a focus on those. And now I'm building that construction yard because I'm going to want another construction yard so I can take it to the middle map. I'm also building cruisers now because I've got that tech center, and you can see I've got the control in terms of the number of destroyers, because sometimes cruisers don't do very well when they're in small numbers against destroyers. And now we're going to try and find that naval yard. There we can see there's red, and let's see if we can destroy these destroyers. And it's looking very good. He just doesn't have enough, and those 2 are definitely going to go down, and then we'll be able to be firing on those naval yards, and once we've got them down it'll make things a lot easier. And now I've got that transport ship out, I've got my construction yard, and I can start bringing it to the middle island. And there's that transport ship from red. I'll have to check that red's not in the middle island actually, else that's going to put, like, it's going to be a bit annoying. But I do have water control, so if red did have some, like an early MCV on that island there, then I would be able to take it over with the water, but I don't think he will be there at this time. And now just getting a large power plant to make sure I've got plenty of power, and I'm going to be building a ore refinery. And I'm just having a little bit of a look around this area, and it looks like we've cleared red off for the time being. So what we need to do now is, now we've got good control, and now we've got satellite as well. I'm going to be bringing these cruisers to this middle point just to help with that middle part of the map, and hopefully do some damage to our enemy forces. Now we've got that construction yard on the island to the left. We're going to get deployed and then get that ore refinery placed. I've also got cruisers in position now, and now I can fire on the enemy troops, do a little bit of damage and whittle down their forces, because those cruisers are very strong against infantry, and they also do good area damage to tanks. But at my base, back at my base, there's a chrono tank, and that's from phototonics. I'm going to have to get some pillboxes down. We'll have to see what is he going to try and go for. Is he going to try and go for the information centre? It does look like he's going for that now. So getting some pillboxes down, and that chrono tank is getting damaged, and it does go down. So I'm going to get a load of pillboxes around that, because chrono tanks can quite easily take out forces, and that's a problem. And now I'm building gap generators just to provide some shroud. But we can see there's another chrono tank in, and now it's going for my construction yard. I'm trying to build a pillbox, but my construction yard's taking a lot of damage, and unfortunately it looks like it's going to go down. I don't think that pillbox is going to do damage quickly enough, and it's gone down. But now those pillboxes are going to get rid of that chrono tank. So just a little bit slow now, but I've got that gap generator up. I've got pillboxes around my base, so now I should be protected. Because chrono tanks do loads of damage, but what they do have is they do have very weak hit points, so they can be destroyed quite easily. So what I'm doing is I'm just placing some pillboxes around just to make sure that the other team aren't going to be able to use chrono tanks and catch me off guard. At least I've got another construction yard though on this extra island, so that's a good thing. And now I'm going to get a gap generator placed down there. So what I need to do is just keep control of the water. I can see that red's got another naval yard, so I'm going to need to deal with that. But just before I got that gap generator down, we can see that photonics, he's got like a small base, that starting point, and now he's got a Tanya, which is going to unfortunately destroy that building. I do have a pillbox which would do some damage, and my teammate has got a Tesla, but that's very unfortunate. Just a few more moments and I would have had that gap generator down, and he wouldn't have been able to chrono that construction yard in. So that was just a little bit unfortunate there, just a few seconds too late. And it's actually the same thing as what happened with that chrono tank. And now those pillboxes, we're having sort of like a pillbox fight. Unfortunately though, because he did get my construction yard down earlier, It's making it a bit harder because my pillboxes aren't going to be building as fast as they would otherwise be. And now I'm bringing my destroyers in against red. I would take them to the island and they're going to be able to do some good damage, but I do need to kill these red destroyers first and take out that naval yard. So just a bit of an unfortunate situation, getting torn between two players, and we can see that Photonics has got a war factory down, but those Tesla coils have made short work of it and been able to neutralise that threat. And now as soon as I get this naval yard down, those destroyers are going to be able to take out the rest of Yellow's base. So that naval yard goes down, and now we can finish this off. So firing on those pillboxes, those turrets, they're absolutely no match for destroyers. Like, ships are so good against bases when they're like at the shoreline. There's nothing the other player can do, and it looks like those turrets are going to go down, and my construction yard is going to be absolutely fine. And now we've got that barracks down, and also that construction yard has gone down also. And I'm going to have to rebuild a ore refinery just so I can start getting back on that map. Now, we're just having a look at a little bit earlier when that was going on, and this is where my teammates started to push through the middle. So you can see purple going on a bit of an attack, and you can see my cruisers there doing some damage to those yellow tanks. You can see those 3 cruisers there just doing some good damage, and now those 3 cruisers are just firing on those tanks because they fire automatically. And you can see yellow Photonics has realised that, and he's decided, actually, I'm going to need to move those yellow tanks back, else they're going to take too much damage. So now the other team falling back. But what we can see is that pink has a navy on the right side of the map, and they're in control there. And we could also see red building his navy up to the right, like right hand side of where I am. So at this time I'm focused on that left island. I didn't actually see red's navy, which he's bringing towards me. And I'm just having a bit of a look here. We can see yellow with lots of medium tanks. He's got a couple of chrono tanks there as well, so they're not going to be in the main fight, I don't think, because they have good other abilities, and those pink destroyers doing some damage to Rambo's tanks there. But now Rambo coming in with his tanks. Hopefully we'll get purple to come in as well, but I think purple's focused on other things at the moment. Something's going on back at his base, and now those red destroyers coming up and going for my cruisers. And Rambo's pulling back for now, and also purple as well. So they're just pulling back, but you can see though when those cruisers were there, yellow was having a bit of a hard time, and we can see those chrono tanks from Photonics now in purple's base. So purple needs to get some base defences, and now they're going for that ore refinery, and it does look like it's going to go down. Indeed it does. He does have another ore refinery, but it's located in an awkward position, and he also doesn't have that other MCV deploy. Oh yeah, he must have an MCV deployed because he's just built a war factory. But yeah, he needs to get some base defences and that base to defend from those chronos. So now back to the game view, and you can see as red got his destroyers out, I'm going to need to pull my cruisers back and start building those destroyers quickly. I've also got my destroyers coming from the bottom where I was fighting Photonics at that base. So we're just trying to sort this out right at the moment. You can see it's agonisingly slow, the speed at which the cruisers and destroyers are moving. Yeah, it's taking a while. And you can see there green getting some submarines, but as I say, submarines don't do well in this fight here. And you can see those destroyers just tailing them at the moment. And what I've decided is actually I need to pull back, because if I pull these cruisers back, all the destroyers are going to do is follow me. So if I pull the cruisers back, I can actually get action from my other destroyers, my little army coming forward. So that at this point, I do start to pull them back. Just so I can group all my naval units together. And now we can see the red destroyers are starting to go down. It looks like we're getting some good damage. We've got superior numbers, and we'll have to see how this goes. They're going to get some of my cruisers down, unfortunately, but that's a sacrifice we need to be willing to make. And now I've got my ore refinery back on that left middle island. Let's see how this fight goes. It looks like the red, we're easily on top. It looks like those red destroyers are going to go down. Unfortunately, though, as I say, I have lost some units in this process. And that last destroyer going down. And yeah, we'll have to also go to their naval yards and take them out. But we have got the better numbers now, and we've neutralised that threat for the time being. And yeah, they're trying to fire on my transport ship, but at the moment, it's of no use at all. So if they do any damage, that's absolutely fine for the time being. But I'm just having to think because of what I can do next. What is the next step after I destroy these naval yards, because I also obviously need to support in the middle as well. And now we're going for, so those destroyers, it looks like it's sort of managed to build up the numbers. I mean, a lot of my destroyers are on very low HP, so they're going to be quite easy to take out, whereas obviously his army is quite healthy as it comes out, but we seem to be losing quite a few destroyers now. But let's see, can we keep this momentum going? We need to be bringing in our reinforcements. It does look like we have the slight upper hand still. But yeah, you can see 2 destroyers going down straight away there. They were both on red. And now we're fighting those 3 from the other team. And now you can see I've just got another ore refinery on that little island just to get a bit more resources in. Because you can see I am struggling for that right at the moment. Because back at my home base, my resources are running quite bare. And I do need to get these destroyers in. I've also got another construction yard just in case I need a spare. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back for the time being, because I'm looking at like I'm in a little bit of trouble and a bit of a difficult situation. Although looking at red space, I don't think there's that much ore on the bottom of the map. I think we might be in a bit better position in terms of ore. Anyway, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that Tanya and I'm going to send it in the transport ship, and I'm going to try and get it to red space. So while red's focusing on the water, I'm going to try and get this transport ship down and see if I can do any damage to red space. What I need to do though is take it sort of like to the side a little bit, just so that red doesn't necessarily notice. I'm not going to obviously bring it right in front of his destroyers. So what I'm bringing it first is right to the left, near that left island, and then I'm going to bring it down and hopefully I get it in without red noticing. And hopefully he's going to be focusing on fighting my destroyers. So I'm just finding a place to deploy this construction yard, and now I'm going to have the faster building speed, although I don't really have that many resources right at the moment. But now we can see red space. It looks like it's unguarded. There's no base defences there, so we'll have to see if red notices. Let's see what we can do. Although there are some, well, there's some green tanks in there, but the green's our team. That's Rambo from the middle. So they've managed to push through. I don't know, but we see some pink tanks following, so maybe it's just... Yeah, he's trying to get that construction yard down. Let's see if he manages to do that, because it is on very low HP. It looks like it could go. Let's see, does he get it? He must certainly, and it does go down. And now we've managed to get that war factory. So it looks like red might not have any war factories left. So we'll have to see what we can do. What I'm trying to go for now is the ore refineries, because I want to take out that naval support. If I take these ore refineries out, he won't have any more resources. He won't be able to pay for any more navy. And that's the thing causing me the headache at the moment. And there's only one left. Am I going to be able to get there? Is that red tanker? Is it going to get squashed? And I just managed to get that... Yeah, that ore refinery out. And that's sort of like saved us here. Because we can see he's got a big force. But now that I've took out those ore refineries, any ships he loses, he's probably not going to be able to replace as soon as he runs out of ore. So now this is a big fight here. But it does look like we're able to take out those destroyers. Those numbers are falling. It looks like we're in a very good position, and we're going to be able to go on the counter-attack. Yeah, there's no way he's going to be able... Like, he's got a decent force there, but we're whittling them down. And yeah, we've got the better... We're probably going to have the better numbers soon, because any ships we use, we can always replace. And we've also got some green submarines helping us. Although it seems to like have overspent a little bit on the submarines, because I don't think submarines are really that useful. He was probably panicking there, didn't realise what I was doing. And yeah, orange and purple and green of my team have all just tapped out. Right, so yeah, I'm left on my own. And yeah, it's a good game. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to sell everything up now, but we're going to have a look a little bit back and just see what exactly happened, because it did look like it was going all right for me. I'd taken out red's like bases. Red wasn't going to be able to produce any more units because he'd lost all his reserves. So let's see what happened at the other side of the map while I was busy with the Tanya. So this was just a little bit earlier on. And what we can see here is we've got orange and purple's base there. And suddenly, to the right of the screen, appears a yellow construction yard. So that's a chrono in. And now he's building barracks. And if he's building barracks, we know what's going to come out of those. It's going to be Tanya's. And the signals from orange and green, which means they're aware it's there. Now, if you've got Tanya's, what orange and purple need to do is they need to build flame towers, because flame towers will just kill them. So we see that from orange coming out, and now purple has just lost his construction yard, but he's still got an MCV, so he can still be okay, but he doesn't want to deploy it at the moment, because you can see that Tanya running through his base. So you can see he's trying to take his MCV somewhere. The Tanya can't destroy the MCV unless it gets deployed, so he's okay for now, but he needs to get rid of that Tanya. So you can see those tanks coming in, and it's just managed to get that radar dome. So purple is going to be a bit blind at the moment, but he's managed to got his MCV to a safe place, and that Tanya's gone. So right now he needs to be building a flame tower. He also should send those tanks to attack that barracks. But let's see. Now he's got chrono tanks on the other side of his base. He's taking his tanks away, and Tanya's might come out of there, and that's going to be big trouble for purple because his tanks are in the wrong place. And I think he's realised that, and he's taking some of his tanks back. But there's a Tanya going towards his MCV. Is he going to undeploy it? And that MCV, that construction yard goes down. So that puts purple in a bad position because he can no longer build any buildings, and all his other structures are getting destroyed. This means that purple's effectively out of the game. We can see his ore trucks are stationary, which means there's no more ore refineries. And now his tanks are destroying those barracks. But it's too late now. They've done the damage. And purple, as soon as he loses those tanks, they'll be of no more use. So yeah, that looks like... I can't see any... Oh, he's still got a Tanya there, actually, destroying those silos. It does look like, yeah, you can see some purple structures down here. And you can see another Tanya coming in and destroying those purple power plants. And they go down. And I think that will be purple out of the game. And now you can see that Tanya destroying some of the structures from orange. I wonder if orange will be low on power because he's got a Tesla coil there, but it won't be any use if it can't fire. And orange is out of the game, and that's when, yeah, everyone quit. And that's what happened at the other side of the map while I was dealing with red. I think what they needed to do is get down some base defences a bit more quickly. Maybe if they had a flame tower or maybe a Tesla coil, it would have been able to deal with a Tanya. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and they did lose their bases. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.